Oh, I think I got him. Did I get him? Please tell me I got him. I just need... Oh, he's sharp. What's up, guys? Welcome to a ruby crowned kinglet episode, apparently. First bird of the day, ruby crowned kinglet. First bird technically was a ruddy duck, but I got distracted by the kinglet. Kinglets are much harder to photograph. So, rocking the new R6 Mark II, and I just got this in last night. It showed up. Today's December 1st. It showed up on my doorstep 6 p.m. last night. Too late to go do anything. So we're out here the next day, my favorite lake, Lake Roberts, out in the middle of southwest New Mexico in the Gila. No camo, no nothing. Didn't even want to bother. Camera lady's with me filming, so I'm not even gonna try being sneaky or anything, setting up ghillie suits or blinds or anything like that. I just want to see what I can get because I'm just so excited. I was shooting with this morning in my yard, and I got a ruby crown kinglet, funnily enough, and also a yellow rumped warbler, and I grabbed my 800 because they were like at the top of this tree and I needed some reach. I noticed something very interesting, and that is that if you guys have ever used this 800 before, you'll know that it has a little box, a focus box in the middle of the screen, and that's your focus area. You can't focus outside of that box. And on every other full frame camera, the R5, my R5, my R6, my RP, all of those cameras, the box is pretty small. But when I put it on the R6 Mark II, the box was huge. It takes up almost the entire screen, and that blew my mind. I don't know how Canon did it. I don't know why they didn't tell anybody that they did it, but I freaking love it. That makes not having to worry about shooting in that stupid box is one of the best little things that could happen. And that also makes me, because of the fact that this R6 Mark II is amazing with high ISO. This first shot that I got of this yellow rumped warbler this morning was ISO 10,000. And that's kind of like blowing my mind. Like, it's as good as the R6, which is amazing, and it's as good as the R5, if not a stop or so better. So when you couple the fact with how this handles high ISO, and then with this 800, one of the things I hated most about it was that focus box. When you put those things together, making that focus box bigger and having the high ISO capabilities, I'm more comfortable shooting with this 800 than I have been in a while, even on my R5. So we're gonna go around here. I'm gonna see what I can get today. I'm gonna be cropping in a lot too, because that's the thing, is a lot of these ducks are far out and I'm not in camo and I'm not in a blind, so I'm not gonna be able to get super close to anything, which is gonna make me have to crop. Yes, I always wish I had my R5. Camera lady has the R5 right now. No big deal. Okay, so we're gonna go out here. I'm gonna see how well this handles some cropping, and I'm gonna shoot some birds. Oh look, a ruddy duck coming. Remember how I said they weren't gonna get too close? Ruddy ducks are usually kind of skittish. Let's see if I can get him. Look at him. This is him right here. So he doesn't have his cool plumage on, his breeding plumage, because it's wintertime, but he's pretty close. So this is 4K uncropped. So a couple other things. Right now I've got this in mechanical shutter. This has less of rolling shutter, I think, than my R5. I think the sensor readout may be just a hair faster, so that's great. So this is way, way better than the R7. But I did have it in mechanical shutter just because I'm playing around with it. I will put it back into electronic shutter when I need to be more sneaky, but right now I don't need to be, so we can just eliminate the rolling shutter issue altogether. So that's not, look, he doesn't even care. He's right there. That's so weird. Ruddy ducks are usually really skittish. Oh, here comes another one. Oh, there's a fishing boat back there. They're like getting away from it. That's kind of cool. They're flushing it towards me. All right, enough talking. Let's go see if we can find some grebes or something, or an eagle. I'm really waiting for an eagle. So let's get going. It's got like 60 something degrees. It was like 20 something this morning. A little bit frustrated. Mostly because the birds are so far away, even with this 800, and the light is really harsh. I'm getting a lot of backlight, so I'm definitely testing out the sensor, the dynamic range and stuff, because I'm going to be pushing some of these images hard, and we'll see if I don't even think I've got any. Well, I certainly didn't get anything amazing, but it's still really fun to be out here, as frustrated as I am. There is a big flock on the other side of the lake. There's a big flock of common mergansers going by, but they're too far even for video. So autofocus seems to be pretty solid, definitely better than anything I've had. Seems to be slightly better than the R5 too. It has the new auto mode, so where it'll detect like whatever, like people or animals or cars or whatever. And I've been doing it in both, like in auto and in animals, and I can't seem to notice a difference in either. So far it's really nice to have it in auto, especially because me and Camera Lady are always switching cameras and stuff like that. So and doing the YouTube videos and switching between people and animals. So it's really nice to know that the auto is working, and it's working quite well. I think I haven't had any issues. It's still hard, like, you know, trying to focus on the kinglet and stuff in like the dense trees and when everything's real busy and the kinglet's really tiny. That's still struggles, but that's why I have the dual back button set up for I have the AF on button set to the point focus, and then I have the star button set to my eye detect, eye tracking. A couple of other things from a YouTuber standpoint, or at least from a hybrid shooter standpoint, someone who likes to take stills and video at the same time. They put the switch on here finally. That was one of my biggest gripes of the R6 and that Camera Ladies too, is that we couldn't easily switch from stills to video. And you could, you know, you have the recording button on the R6 that you can set for your C3 custom, but it's really limited. And this one does the same thing. So I set the record button to 4K 60 with auto ISO, and that way, because the one downside that I'm finding is it's nice to have the switch, but when I'm shooting it and my hand is bracing, I have to unbrace, debrace, and come up here and switch to video if I want like full video. So that's kind of a pain, whereas like on the R5 it's still my favorite because I can program the MFN button to switch, because the R5 has the electronic dial, and that is still overall my favorite. And I would prefer that Canon do that with all of their cameras, because when you program the MFN button, it's just one click to switch between stills and video. And then you can also set your record button as a custom C3 to a different setting. Like on the R5, I have that set to 8K, and then I have my MFN button switched to 4K 60. So that gives me two options, and I really like that. Overall, I'm really happy so far with this. I think the autofocus is being amazing. The sensor seems to be really, really good. All right, let's. I think I'm rested. I want to walk around this way and see if we can get into some better light and get some better buffleheads or some mergansers or something, or a grebe. A grebe would be nice. Let's keep going and see what we can find. So it's been a couple of days, a few days now actually. Today's the 5th and I think I filmed that on the 1st. It actually rained for like 2.5 days straight, which for southern New Mexico is pretty incredible, but I'll take it. Anyways, I definitely didn't end up getting the images or any images that I was really hoping for, you know, as is pretty per usual from my wildlife experiences. I don't know about yours, but more often than not, it seems like you don't get what you're after in wildlife photography. But that's okay. It was absolutely gorgeous outside. I think the footage came out pretty cool though, and I'm really liking the R6 for filming. So all of that footage that I shot of the birds, that wasn't camera lady's footage, all of my footage was 4K 60, and I had it set to C3 so that when I just hit the record button, it did 4K 60 in auto ISO. I think I mentioned that earlier. Anyways, but that's how I had that set up. I didn't actually end up using the switchy button for the video at all, though I probably will as I get used to it. So just to wrap up a couple of first impressions of the R6 Mark II, at least for wildlife photography, because that's the only thing I've done with it so far, is it's turning out to be quite the camera, I think. The autofocus, like I've continued to say, is pretty amazing. I haven't had any problems with anything really. The extra 4 megapixels is there, it's great. I wish it was more, of course, but I'll take that extra 10% over the original, especially considering that the ISO performance hasn't dropped. I haven't noticed a perceptible drop. I haven't done any like specific scientific tests or anything. But those, like I said earlier, all of those shots at 10,000 with minimal noise reduction for me have been pretty impressive. Just a few things holding it back from being like a super ultra incredible like S-tier camera maybe, and of course that's not to be expected with the price, right? I mean, the fact that they kept this at $2,500 is pretty mind-blowing, so I'm not complaining at all. But just a few things to consider from at least my experience and my point of view, keeping this from being just an absolute monster of a camera are, of course, you know, the resolution for still shooters. But on the video side, because you guys probably don't know this, but I actually bought this primarily for Camera Lady, for my wife to shoot the video stuff for this channel with, and that's how we're going to be mostly using it. So I'm not going to mostly be using this as a daily driver for a wildlife camera. I'm actually mostly going to be using it to film these YouTube videos, and then of course doing astrophotography stuff, though I'm also keeping my R6, my original R6, as astro, and now relegated to backup 4K time lapses and that kind of thing. But on the video side, like I said earlier, it's really nice that they have the switch there now, but for someone filming with long lenses and stuff, it's still a little bit difficult to switch with the left hand. So I'm still getting used to that. Obviously, that's not a gripe for me. That's not a game changer. It's not an issue. I'm just pointing it out. What I was hoping for though were, and the video quality has improved overall. I think it stepped up a lot from the original R6. The one thing though that I still wish, and maybe they're segregating this for cannibalism purposes, but not having the all AI is still a bummer. I think it was teased a while back, you know, through rumors that the R6 would be getting a firmware update that had all eye compression for video, and that never happened. And then now the R6 Mark II being released and not having that is a real, pretty much nail in the coffin to like, that's probably not coming. So don't get your hopes up on that kind of stuff. Not a huge deal breaker for me. I do medium level editing in terms of color correction and color grading and stuff like that. And the fact that the R6 Mark II does have C-Log and C-Log 3, which is a huge deal and highly beneficial, the IPB is not that bad, actually, at least for my uses. Like I said, I'm not making feature films out of this. I'm not pushing it too hard. But just with basic color corrections and grading and LUTs and all of that, the IPB for me has been fine on the R6 and is proving to be fine on the R6 Mark II. Let's switch gears for a second, talk about some image quality. So like I said, I didn't get anything that I personally consider amazing images, and that's okay because I still had fun out there. But the images that I did get, I think, are a good representation of, you know, what I feel like personally I'll be able to get out of this camera. I think that given my struggles, you know, I had a rough day out there with everything being really far away and harsh light, using an 800 F11. There's a lot of ways, no camo, no blinds, none of that. There's a lot of ways that I was not doing myself any favors for shooting out there. But that being said, using the skills that I have and being where I am, I still think that I came away with some decent images. And I think that they're a good sign. I mean, every one of these is cropped except for the coot image. So the coot image is the only one. That guy like started swimming straight towards me, and he eventually got way too close for the 800 to even think about focusing. So that was really cool. And this was right at the edge. I mean, this was the 20-foot marker for right at the edge of that minimum focus distance for the 800. And image quality wise, I think it's fine. And all of these were high ISO. All of these were well over 3200. I don't think I ever went below 3200 ISO because of that F11 and because of shooting at the fast shutter speeds. So on top of that, the fact that every one of these was cropped except for that coot image, and being shot at higher ISOs, and being shot on the F11, the 800 F11, which is arguably, I mean, it's a decent quality, it really is, but it's not the best optical quality either. All of that having been said, I do feel like I came away with some decent images, and it is very promising for me personally, I think, knowing what I'll be able to get out of this. I'm actually leaving tomorrow, so by the time this video is up, I will probably already have been out there. But I'm leaving, as of the time of filming this, I'm leaving tomorrow for Bosque del Apache. I've been leading a couple of workshops up there for the next couple weeks, and I'm super excited. I will be taking the R6 Mark II, and I have a couple of days break in between each workshop, and I do plan, hopefully, on that couple of days to knock out another wildlife episode with the R6 Mark II, and hopefully this time get some actual like legit images that I'm stoked about. And definitely some more footage, because you can't go wrong at Bosque, especially during the winter time. Even though this year is low and everybody's complaining about it, it's still an amazing place. It's still way better than where I'm at right now. And I know that I'm gonna come away with some good stuff. So I'm really looking forward to that. So be on the lookout for that video if you're watching this right when this comes out. And if you're watching this in the future, then go check out my Bosque stuff. I've got a lot of other wildlife stuff from there, including from the R7. I will be doing more videos on the R7. That's coming soon too. I'm still working collectively on getting enough user experience for me to feel comfortable with a long-term review. So if you guys have any questions about that, leave those in the comments below. And the same goes with the R6 Mark II. Whatever else you want to see or know about the R6 Mark II from my perspective, leave those in the comments, and I will definitely try to work that into future videos. I'm also going to be doing some astro stuff pretty soon with the R6 Mark II, because that's a huge draw for me personally, and I think it's a really good fit for the camera as well. All right, so that's it. I got a lot of gear to pack. If you're still here, I super appreciate it. Hit that like button for me, because that's the best thing you can do for the channel. If you're watching this before Christmas 2022, then check out my links below. Those affiliate links are always appreciated. A lot of sales going on right now, including from my own preset pack, which I'm super stoked about. As always, I love all you guys who support that and have been enjoying my preset packs and the way I'm editing and stuff like that. So those are down below too. And that is definitely it, because I am out of tea. It is chai time. I will see you in the next episode. Thanks for watching.